Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're going to do another Bites and Nibbles with Breck segment today. Today, we're going to do a chili recipe. I've been asking on the live stream for a while for people to share good chili recipes, and our friend Susan Flanagan sent me one recently that sounds really good, and we can do it in the Instant Pot. Now, apparently, this is a recipe that very closely emulates a recipe by a famous restaurant in LA called Chasen's. This is Chasen's famous chili. Let's go check this out. This looks like it's going to be good. Alright, so these are the ingredients for our chili. First off, we're going to start with 2 pounds of beef chuck roast, 1 pound of a pork shoulder roast. Now I couldn't actually find pork shoulders, so I'm going with a pork butt, so I guess if this tastes like butt, we'll know why. 1 can of diced tomatoes, some chili powder. Now they specifically recommend you go with this Gebhardt brand chili powder. Apparently that's the kind that the Chasen's recipe uses, or the Chasen's restaurant uses, and they recommend that you use that exact brand. Fortunately, I was able to find it in the grocery store, so we're going to try it with that. Some ground cumin, a little vegetable oil, salt and pepper, some butter, some pinto beans, a bell pepper, some onions, little garlic. I'm going to throw in some serrano chilies for some flavor, and some fresh parsley. Let's get going. Alright, about an hour or so has passed since I shot the last scene, and actually I wanted to do a bunch of prep work, getting the meat cut up, get the veggies all cut up, and we aren't completely there yet, but some of these initial steps take a little bit of time. So while I finish up the veggies, I'm going to do the first step and prepare the pinto beans. Now the recipe calls for 1 cup or half a pound of pinto beans to about 3 cups of water. But my experience is you want a lot of water in the Instant Pot, especially when you have a big one like I do. So I put 10 or 15 cups of water in there. That's just because we're going to make sure that there's plenty of moisture in there for the beans to soak them all up and not become uncovered and all that. And that sometimes happens with a larger Instant Pot. So I'm going to use a lot more water in there, but other than that, I'm going to follow the recipe exactly. We're going to put the lid on. We are going to pressure cook for 35 minutes at high. And so I will catch up with you in 35 minutes. Alright, 35 minutes have gone by, and we are going to naturally release the pressure for 10 minutes and then quick release the rest of it. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. Alright, we've naturally released for 10 minutes, and now we're going to quick release the rest. There won't be much left in here. And when the little button drops, the pressure is safely released. We're going to open it up. Be very, very careful with this, because you'll always have steam that wants to come out when you first initially open it up, and that can be dangerous. Alright, those beans look pretty good. We're going to drain those, and we're going to put those aside. Alright, so I put the inner pot back in, and I'm going to press the saute button, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to saute our bell peppers and our onions and garlic. So I'll catch up to you when this thing heats up and is ready to go. Alright, so my Instant Pot says it's hot now, so I'm going to pour my oil in here. And we're going to start off with the bell peppers. We're going to throw those in. We're going to just saute those for a couple of minutes here, and then once they're in there and good to go, then we'll throw in the onions and a lot of the rest of the stuff. Alright, so about 2 minutes have gone now. Now we're going to put in our onions. We're going to let them saute for a little bit. Get it all out of there, because we want all that onion goodness. And I'm also going to put in my serrano chilies at this point. And we're going to let that all kind of saute together for about 3 minutes. All right, we're going to cancel that. And now we're going to move that into another pan. We're going to put that aside so we can come back to that so we can move on to our next step. All right, we placed the inner pot back into the Instant Pot after a quick rinse out. I'm going to again put it into saute mode, and I'm going to put a whole stick of butter in there, and we're going to wait for that butter to melt, and then we are going to saute our meat. So I'll catch up with you in just a minute. All right, our butter is nice and melted. I'm going to pour my meat into here, and we are going to saute that for about 10 minutes. Get it nice and brown. But before we do that, we're going to also add in our spices. So this is 6 cups of the chili powder, a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon and a half of fresh ground pepper, and some cumin. This is going to give it the flavor here. And like I said, we're just going to brown this for the next 10 minutes or so. And we're going to actually start waiting until it starts sizzling before we start the clock here, because the meat's actually been in the fridge for a little bit to, just to kind of, because I don't like setting meat out, raw meat out in just the kitchen here. So it's been in the fridge, so it's a little bit cold, but that's okay. Alright, we've been going for about 10 minutes now. I think this is pretty effectively browned. Smells really good. It's starting to smell like chili, and that's what you want, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my peppers and onions into the mix. This also has my garlic and my parsley in it. I'm going to give that just a good stir to kind of get everything mixed up here. Then we are going to add our tomatoes, juice and all. 1/4 cup of water. And our beans. Give that just a good stir. Get it all mixed together here. Okay, I think that's a good stir. We're going to cancel to turn off the saute. Gonna get my dishes out of the way here. We're going to put the lid on, and we are going to pressure cook at high for 13 minutes. Catch up with you in 13 minutes. Alright, 13 minutes have gone by. We're going to let this thing naturally release for another 13 minutes, and then we'll quick release it, and we'll be ready to try this stuff out. So see you in 13 minutes. Alright, another 13 minutes have passed, and we're going to quick release the rest of the pressure. Alright, pull the lid off and see what we got. Now, I gotta admit, it smells pretty good in here already, so. Oh yeah, that looks like chili. Gonna stir that up a little bit. Now the recipe says if you want to thicken it up a little bit, you can turn it back on saute again and boil a little of the liquid off. But I think I'll probably just stick with it as is. It looks pretty good to me, and I don't mind chili being a little soup-like. Alright, so we're ready for the all-important taste test. I gotta admit, this smells really good, so I'm kind of looking forward to see what we got here. I'm gonna take it very careful at the beginning because I'm sure it's very, very hot. So we're gonna kind of go slowly here because I don't want to be breathing fire here, at least not that kind of fire, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. I probably would maybe boil off a little bit more of the liquid, make it be a little thicker, but the beauty is over time this will thicken up a little bit as it cools down and is reheated. So it'll be really, I think it'll be just about right when we get to that point. Now, like I said, I added the serrano chilies to it because I'm a fan of that, and it's got a nice little bite to it. It isn't overwhelming, but you may wish to skip that if you don't like, if you don't really like the thick, the really heavy jalapeno spicy flavor. But I think it's really good, and yeah, I would definitely try this again. Now, I don't think that this is the end of the chili recipes. I'd really like to try a whole bunch of them. So if anyone else has a chili recipe, we can try it. It doesn't have to be done in the Instant Pot. It can be done anywhere, but I'm looking for a really, really good chili recipe. This is a contender, but I want to see what else is out there. So don't be afraid to send in other ideas for recipes. We'll definitely try them. Now, one of the downsides I see with this recipe is there was an enormous amount of prep work. I actually thought I was kind of crazy starting off at 2 o'clock preparing all this, but you know, it's 4 hours later now. What is it? Yeah, it's after 6 right now, and I'm just getting to this. So that's one of the downsides. There's a lot of prep work because you got to cut up the meat, you got to cut the veggies, you got to get everything ready to go. And then even then, there's some time because it's 35 minutes for the beans to do that in the Instant Pot, and then another 30 minutes to cook the overall mixture when you get everything mixed together. But like I said, I think the results are good, and I would definitely try this again. Definitely recommend it. Like I said, you don't have to do the serranos if you're not into that, but I am, and I think it turned out pretty good. So anyway, I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Bon appetit.